Hello everyone, my name is Vishwanath. I am a BTech in Computer Science graduate, and I have completed my BTech in 2016. And post to it, I have a 2 years experience in coding tutor. So today in the first class, we will explore about some coding in Python actually. So what is coding? So coding is nothing but the way by which we give commands or the instructions to the computer. Now, when we give command actions to computer, that means we need a better language to interact with the computers. So computers cannot understand our language. If you're speaking in English, Hindi, Kannada, they cannot understand this language. So computers can only understand their own language, that is binary language. So we cannot understand one binary language. So to maintain the bridge between both of us, so programming languages are introduced. So programming language can translate our language into machine level language. So that is the programming language. So one of the very famous programming languages nowadays is Python. Let's make a small game in Python in the first class itself. So the game will be a simple point toss game. What are the rules of this game? So the rules of this game is very simple. As you know, that tossing the coin means when we toss the coin, we can have either head or tails. That is the possible outputs, either head or tails. Suppose as a user, if you're guessing out, for example, heads, and it turns out to be true, that means you have won the toss. And it turns out to be false, that means you have lost the toss. So how we make this game over here? So we will just try to take your guess from the user and then match with the computer's guess. If it matches out, you have won the game. Else, we have lost the game. So you can start off with a very simple line over here. So, for example, declare a variable coin, and inside this, we can store the two possible outputs of the coin. So, coin toss can have two possible outputs, that is head, then we have tail. Okay, so what is coin over here? So, coin is a variable which can store some data inside it. So variable in programming can be defined as a container which can be used to store some data inside it. So on your screen, I have declared a variable whose name is coin, and inside that I have stored the two values of this variable, that is head and tail. This is a syntax. The square brackets, then use the single quotes or double quotes to store the values. After this, what we're going to do now? The computer had understood now. Okay, so coin is storing the two values, that is the head and the tail. Now next part comes to the take the input from the user. What is the guess of the user? So remember very important thing in this, that when you declare a variable name, it has to be proper names. You cannot give it a very random names. As we have seen in mathematics, we are giving a random names in algebra X and Y. So when you make any type of particular games, a particular application pattern, so be particular about the variable names over here. Now, after this, we are going to declare a variable, say guess, which will store the input of the user. To store the input of the user, we have to use this function input. And in this, we can just ask the user that enter your guess. And we can also mention what they need to enter over here, so that whether will be head or tail. Now, after this, what we will do now? So we'll be trying to use a library that is import, and then the library name that is random. So import is the keyword and random is the library name. Why we are going to use this random library? Because this random library has some predefined functions stored inside it. Smaller functions is, for example, let's say a random dot choice, function name. And inside this, I am going to pass the variable that is coin. What I will do, I will store this outcome from the random dot choice inside this variable toss. Now, what is happening in line number 5 and 7? So import is the keyword to add a library in program. What is the library? So right now you can just understand the libraries are having some set of predefined functions in them. So line number 7, I'm using that particular function from this library is random.choice. In random.choice, when we pass any variable to it in the brackets, we have passed the variable point into that. So random.choice picks the random values from that variable. So how many values can we see inside the coin? We can see only two values, that is head and tail. So we can just random.choice will pick up the random values from it. That can be either head or tail, and it is stored inside this variable toss over. After this, what we can do to check that whether we have won the toss or not. Since the computer has stored our guess, and the computer toss can be assumed that it is stored in the toss variable. So how to check it out whether we are winning the game or losing the game? Very simply, we can use the if part. So if is a conditional statement which can be used to just see whether the two variables are equal or not. So in this, we will just write over a guess, that is a variable name just stored in the user input, and double equal to, then we write a variable name that is toss. What do I use a double equal to over here? So double equal to is used to compare both the variable values. You might have seen we are using single equal to line number 1, line number 3, and line number 7. Single equal to is the assignment operator, and double equal to is the comparison operator to compare the two values of the variable. So if guess and toss are equal, then what should happen? We should win or lose the toss. Obviously, if it is equal, we should win the toss. So we'll write a message in the print statement. You have won the toss. Like this, a very simple message for the user. So if the toss value matches with the user guess, that means we have won the toss. If it does not happens, if there is not matching the user guess, what should happen in that case? What do you write over here? You simply write else print you have lost the toss. Like simple as that. Now let's see whether in the program, whether the program is running properly or not. So we'll just click on this run button. So it is asking now, enter your guess, head or tail. So we'll enter our guess example head. So you have lost toss. Now how to understand what is the computer part? So you can add one statement before displaying the result. What we will do over here in line number 8, we'll just write the print statement over here. And in the statement, we can just print the computer toss over here. So computer toss and the toss variable value will print it. Now let's run this game. Let's see what happens now. So suppose if I enter over here, my guess that is tails. So computer toss is tail now. That's why I won the toss. Let's run it one more time and see the output. So let's enter over head. Computer toss is tail. That means it is a mismatch. That's why I have lost the toss. So what is happening now? So very simple thing is happening. We have declared the variable coin, storing the two values, that is heads and tail. In the next part, we are using the guess variable to take the input from the user using the input function. Now to make the things randomized, as it happens in a real toss, that can be the either head or tail. So we are using this random library. And random library, we can use this function random.choice, which picks up the values from the variable randomly. Now what we are doing, we're just comparing whether the guess and toss is equal or not. If it is equal, then it will print that we have won the toss. If it is not happening, you can just print we have lost the toss. As simple as that. Okay, now a very small question pops in my mind that if I need to play the game again, I need to hit the run button again and I need to enter this my choice, for example, tail. Now If it happens, for example, if I need to play the game again and again without clicking on the run button, what should be the case in that? How to make it happen again and again without clicking the run button? So we can do one thing, we can build a logic over here. So suppose if we enter, suppose if I say, yes, I want to play the game again, the game should repeat again. If I say no, game should stop at that moment. So if chain type game should happen. So how to do that? So let's explore that part. Now what I will do, I will just declare a variable, say play again. And in this, I'm going to just enter the user input. What the user will see, the user will be asked a message. So the question for the user, do you want to play again? With the two options, yes or no. Yeah, simply you can say yes or no. So if the user says yes, then the game should again. If the user says no, the game stop over there. Okay, now to repeat this particular set of blocks. So it repeat these blocks 1 to 14 again. The statement should repeat again. If I say yes, it should repeat again. Now, how to make the things repeat again? So here we have to use the concept of loops. Loops means it will repeat again if the condition turns out to be true. So what we will do, we will just use, first of all, here we have to use the while loop. So in the while loop, we have to just check that the value of the play again is yes or no. So if it is yes, the game should run. Again, if it is no, the game should stop. Okay, so it is checking over here. Now let's run the game and see what happens. Okay, it is giving him as an error that play again is not defined. Why it is so? Because in Python programming, there is some sequence. You cannot make it like that. The running of this program, execution of the program starts line number 1. Before using this play again variable inside the while loop, it has to be declared. But we have declared line number 15. So it has to be declared before line number 1. So the execution of this program starts line number 1. So what I will do over here, so let's declare the variable over here, play again. So what value should we give to it? So we should give it a value y only, because if it is not true in the first part, it will not enter this loop for line number 3 because it's comparing with the y only. Now let's see in the program what happens. Okay, it's working now. So it is asking me your guess. So I will enter my guess, say head. Okay, computer toss is tail. I lost the toss. I have to play it again. So right over here, yes. Or you're asking my choice. Let me enter over here head. Okay, so I won the toss. So now I don't want to play the game. So I'll just click on the end. Stop. This is the output. Now let us just discuss a few parts of this in the game. So first of all, I am using this REPL.it. This is an online IDE to run your Python programs over here. And second thing is very easy to run program without downloading software. That's using it in my first class. So what I am seeing right now in this entire game, what I have done, I have made a game in the coin toss in which when the user enters the guess, that means head or tail matches with the computer toss. Of this matching, for example, your guess is heads and computer toss is also heads, then you have won the toss. Else will be you have lost the toss. Now to make the game repetitive, if you say yes or no, game should repeat again and again. So we are using the loops over here. So we are using while loops. We're just comparing the random counter variable. When you enter yes, the game will repeat again. If you say no, the game will stop over there. This is a very simple program, a very simple game of coin toss in Python. So hope you have liked this part of this class and see you next class. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Meet you next class.